And it's a huge advantage if you have somebody who can be recognized as that not just in your country but around the world. Get ready for the biggest royal shock of the year. Princess Anne is taking on Queen Camilla in a jaw-dropping Supreme Court battle that could change the monarchy forever. Allegations of hidden schemes, misuse of royal funds, and betrayal of the late Queen Elizabeth's final wishes have created a storm in the palace. Will Princess Anne's bold move protect the crown's legacy, or will Queen Camilla's power plays keep her on the throne? Strap in for this epic royal roller coaster. Princess Anne's decision to take legal action against Queen Camilla has shaken the royal family in ways few imagined possible. What started as whispered tensions behind palace walls has now become a public and legal showdown, with Princess Anne boldly standing for what she believes is right. Many observers say this step is unprecedented, especially since royal disputes are usually handled privately to avoid damaging the family's image. However, Princess Anne seems convinced that going through the courts is the only way to protect the late Queen Elizabeth's legacy and safeguard the monarchy's integrity. According to insiders, Anne's primary concern is that Queen Camilla has crossed several lines, especially regarding the proper use of royal funds, the honoring of Queen Elizabeth's wishes, and fair treatment of other senior royals. By filing a case in the Supreme Court, Anne signals her readiness to air the monarchy's internal issues on a public stage. This alone is a major shift from royal tradition, as family matters are rarely discussed outside palace corridors. Some view her move as courageous, while others believe it risks tearing the family apart and weakening the crown's stability. Still, Anne's supporters say she is driven not by power or desire for attention but by her deep love for the royal institution. She has always been known for a no-nonsense approach, rarely seeking the limelight but consistently fulfilling her duties. That's why many are taking her allegations seriously. Her reputation for diligence and sincerity suggests she wouldn't casually launch such a severe legal challenge without solid reasons. Meanwhile, Queen Camilla's allies consider this lawsuit an extreme measure. They argue it's part of a broader family rift that has been brewing for years rather than a genuine attempt to correct wrongdoing. They point out that Queen Camilla has worked hard to show devotion to the monarchy, supporting King Charles through difficult times. To them, Princess Anne's move seems like an overreaction that plays into media drama more than it defends royal traditions. Regardless of which perspective is correct, the sheer fact that a Supreme Court case looms over Buckingham Palace is stunning. Many worry that private documents and testimonies might become public, exposing secrets that could undermine the monarchy's image worldwide. Princess Anne isn't backing down, and Queen Camilla isn't rushing to bow out. As each side prepares their arguments, the stakes for the royal family have never been higher, making this legal storm a defining moment in modern royal history. Among the many shocking claims made by Princess Anne against Queen Camilla, the alleged misuse of royal funds stands out for its potential impact on public trust. These funds, drawn partly from taxpayers and partly from private sources, are meant to support the monarchy's official duties, charitable endeavors, and maintenance of royal properties. However, Princess Anne believes Queen Camilla overstepped her boundaries by using these resources in ways that benefit her personal interests rather than the good of the crown. Rumors suggest that Camilla may have funneled money toward lavish renovations within the palace, organized extravagant events, and even granted financial favors to close friends. While royal consorts have always had some discretion with spending, critics argue that the scale of these alleged expenses goes far beyond what is considered proper. The key question is whether any real evidence exists to prove wrongdoing or if these reports are inflamed by long-standing family tensions. Princess Anne's legal documents supposedly detail specific instances of questionable spending, which could include receipts, contracts, and witness statements from palace staff. If these documents are made public, they might offer a rare glimpse into the monarchy's internal finances. For royal watchers and the media, this is a dramatic development because the monarchy has traditionally kept financial matters hidden behind a wall of secrecy. Anne's willingness to expose these details shows her determination to hold Queen Camilla accountable. Queen Camilla's supporters argue that these accusations are overblown. They say palace renovations and official events are part of royal life and that any lavish appearance is often necessary for ceremonial or diplomatic reasons. They also note that Camilla has been active in charity work and public engagements, helping raise awareness for causes like domestic violence and literacy. They believe claims of financial misconduct stem from personal grudges rather than facts. However, the public reaction to these allegations could be severe regardless of the outcome in court. The British people place great importance on how their taxes are used, and royal watchers across the globe expect the monarchy to conduct itself with transparency. If evidence of serious misuse emerges, Camilla's reputation could suffer a significant blow, and she might face pressure to relinquish certain roles or, in an extreme scenario, step aside altogether. In any case, the topic of alleged misuse of royal funds strikes at the heart of the monarchy's public image. If the royal family fails to address these concerns thoroughly and sincerely, the damage could be long-lasting even if Camilla is ultimately cleared of any wrongdoing. One of the most poignant aspects of Princess Anne's accusations is the claim that Queen Camilla disregarded or even overturned Queen Elizabeth's directives for the future of the monarchy before her passing. The late Queen was known for her careful planning, often mapping out how different royals would support King Charles once he ascended the throne. According to Anne, these plans were supposed to ensure a stable transition, maintain public trust, and ensure everyone had a clear role. By allegedly ignoring these directives, Camilla is said to have disrupted a delicate balance. Princess Anne contends that her mother had specific wishes, including her own continued involvement in major state functions. Anne has always been one of the busiest royals, supporting charities and attending numerous events each year. She believes Queen Elizabeth wanted her active leadership to continue but asserts that Queen Camilla shortened Anne's responsibilities in favor of elevating her own influence. Sources suggest that Queen Elizabeth's directives also included guidelines about how Princess Catherine would evolve in her role, preparing to one day help Prince William as a future monarch. If Camilla pushed aside those plans, it could create confusion and hurt the monarchy's ability to present a united, well-prepared front. Some insiders claimed that the late Queen intended for the family to function more collaboratively rather than having power predominantly centered on Charles and Camilla. This alleged sidelining of the late Queen's wishes is especially troubling to those who respected Elizabeth's steady leadership. Her reign was marked by an emphasis on devotion to duty and careful stewardship of tradition. If Camilla truly dismissed those long-standing values, it would mark a striking departure from the monarchy's established course. For Anne, letting such decisions go unchallenged might feel like a betrayal of everything her mother worked to secure. Camilla's defenders, however, argue that the monarchy must adapt to changing times. They say any shifts in responsibilities may simply reflect the reality of a new reign, one that requires fresh approaches to public engagement and international relations. What Anne sees as sidelining might be, in their view, an update to ensure the monarchy remains relevant. Regardless of the rationale, the notion that Queen Elizabeth's explicit instructions are being set aside has caused shock among royal observers. Many feel that ignoring the late Queen's directives breaks an unspoken rule within the royal family, where tradition and continuity have always mattered. Whether in or out of the courtroom, this debate could reshape how the monarchy navigates the tension between long-held customs and modern demands. Perhaps the most personal aspect of Princess Anne's accusations involves the claim that Queen Camilla deliberately sidelined other influential royals. While Anne herself feels marginalized, attention has also turned to whether Princess Catherine, often called Kate, has seen her own role reduced to bolster Camilla's status. In a family where hierarchy and tradition guide almost every move, even subtle changes in protocol can signal big shifts in power. According to sources, Anne believes Camilla views her and Princess Catherine as threats to her influence. This makes sense in a way. Anne's commitment to royal duties has earned her widespread respect, while Catherine is extremely popular with the public and represents a modern face of the monarchy. When both appear at events, they draw positive attention and often overshadow Camilla. By limiting their exposure or authority, Camilla might hope to keep the spotlight on herself and King Charles. Critics argue this strategy risks fracturing the family's unity, which depends on complementary roles rather than internal competition. If Anne or Catherine are seen to be less active, fans may wonder why two of the monarchy's most admired figures aren't taking center stage. In turn, rumors of conflict hurt the monarchy's image, especially when it tries to present itself as a stable institution above everyday disagreements. Camilla's supporters, however, deny any notion of sidelining. They claim that schedules and events are determined by practical considerations, not personal rivalry. From their viewpoint, the family is merely adjusting responsibilities in line with King Charles's priorities and broader royal changes. They point out that both Princess Anne and Princess Catherine continue to attend engagements and champion charitable causes, so talk of isolation could be exaggerated. Still, the fact that Princess Anne has included sidelining key royals in her accusation speaks to deep-seated frustration she may feel. Monarchy is drifting from its core purpose of public service, especially if decisions are made for personal gain or image control. For Anne, each member of the royal family has a unique role, and undermining those roles creates instability. This alleged sidelining feeds into a broader narrative of a palace divided. While Camilla and Charles assume the powerful center, others feel pushed to the margins. Observers say this dynamic, whether real or perceived, could spark future conflicts, especially as younger royals like William and Catherine aim to modernize royal protocols. In the end, the claim of sidelining underscores the tension between tradition, individual ambitions, and the challenge of working together to keep the monarchy strong in a rapidly changing world. One of the surprising turns in Buckingham Palace right now is Princess Anne's bold move to challenge Queen Camilla's alleged actions. Many see Anne as the embodiment of dedication and loyalty, having served the crown tirelessly for decades without craving the spotlight. Her motive is not driven by personal ambition or any desire to undermine her older brother's reign. Instead, she appears solely focused on defending the standards that her mother, Queen Elizabeth, set for the monarchy. And critics sometimes label her as too serious or rigid, but her supporters believe that her strict adherence to duty is exactly what the royal family needs at this critical moment. In the eyes of people who closely follow royal affairs, Princess Anne's approach is not about personal glory. She has always been known as one of the most down-to-earth members of the family. Her daily schedule is packed with public engagements, charity work, and behind-the-scenes responsibilities that keep the monarchy running smoothly. Supporters argue that her lifelong commitment to service makes her uniquely qualified to assess whether Queen Camilla's actions have crossed ethical lines. By standing up against what she perceives as misuse of funds and disregard for her mother's directives, and hopes to preserve the dignity of an institution she sees as bigger than any individual. Critics, however, wonder if Anne's bold stance will backfire. They claim that by filing a court case, she risks bringing even more attention to palace rifts, potentially harming the family's united front. Public disagreements within the monarchy can weaken its image as a stable force above everyday quarrels, but Anne's supporters counter that sometimes taking a stand is necessary, even if it exposes hidden issues. They point to her track record of rarely seeking public drama for personal advantage, suggesting that her actions now come from a genuine desire to keep the monarchy honest, fair, and consistent with Queen Elizabeth's time-honored values. Queen Camilla's journey to becoming the monarch's consort has been anything but straightforward. Once seen by some as a controversial figure who disrupted the fairy tale image of Charles and Diana, she steadily worked to shift public opinion over time. She took on charitable roles, attended official events, and built alliances within the palace. Many say Camilla's soft-spoken approach helped rebuild her reputation as she avoided headline-grubbing conflicts and instead focused on everyday royal duties. Yet behind that calm exterior, critics claim she is adept at navigating palace politics. By carefully aligning with King Charles's advisors, she secured her place when the time came for Charles to ascend the throne. Ever since she stepped into the spotlight, Camilla understood the power of perception. She often appeared gracious and humble, a contrast to some of the more outspoken members of the royal family. Although the public took a while to warm up to her, her patience and behind-the-scenes efforts smoothed tensions. Even when Princess Diana's memory overshadowed her, she pressed on without dramatic gestures or statements. Observers note that, over the years, Camilla seemed to quietly reshape her image, embracing charity work related to issues like domestic violence and literacy. By doing so, she built a base of support that would help her in the years ahead. However, Princess Anne's accusations suggest this rise to acceptance was not merely about good deeds and charm. There are rumors that Camilla used her influence to guide key decisions, including how funds were allocated and which royals got the most attention. Some allege she encouraged King Charles to favor her allies, ensuring her comfort and elevating her position within the family. Whether fair or not, these stories paint a picture of a woman determined to protect her interests. In turn, supporters of Queen Camilla see her as someone simply trying to modernize the monarchy, staying relevant in an age when public scrutiny of royal affairs grows each day. Camilla's strategic rise is intricately linked to her ability to mend old wounds while forging new paths. She managed to gain a degree of acceptance from the late Queen Elizabeth, which played a major role in easing her transition. The top royal circle still skeptics argue that her Gentile facade masks a sharp political mind. Her every move since marrying Charles may have been part of a carefully laid plan. Princess Anne's current legal action adds fuel to these theories, suggesting that Camilla crossed lines to secure power. Whether those claims hold weight or not, Camilla's climb demonstrates her persistence in claiming her place by King Charles's side. Public backlash against Queen Camilla began the moment her relationship with King Charles went public. She faced waves of criticism, with many people seeing her as the reason Charles and Diana's marriage fell apart, making her unpopular for years. Though she tried to keep a low profile and show serious dedication to charity and royal work, some segments of the public never fully embraced her. The memory of Diana's warmth and tragedy cast a long shadow over Camilla's efforts at acceptance. Even after her official role expanded, whispers persisted that she lacked the grace or popularity to stand beside the king. These doubts flared anew once the scandal broke as allegations emerged that Camilla might have misused funds or ignored Queen Elizabeth's wishes. The public reaction grew more intense. Royal observers, who had perhaps grown used to quiet palace routines, were shocked by the idea that a queen consort could face legal scrutiny. Social media buzzed with debates on whether Camilla's past mistakes, combined with these new claims, showed a pattern of selfishness. Meanwhile, critics pointed out that the royal family relies on the goodwill of taxpayers and should never betray that trust. In their eyes, Camilla has not only let Diana's memory down but also jeopardized the monarchy's credibility. Supporters of Camilla, however, argue that she became an easy target for anger that built up long before she entered the scene. They note that tradition runs deep in Britain, and anyone who challenges the romantic narrative around Diana can become a scapegoat. Her defenders maintain that Camilla has quietly done her best to serve the public, taking on patronages and charities without seeking much praise. From this viewpoint, the sudden uproar is unfair, fueled by lingering emotional wounds rather than facts. Nevertheless, the court of public opinion is unpredictable, and the accusations brought by Princess Anne have made Camilla's tenuous position even more fragile. As this crisis unfolds, King Charles finds himself in a deeply uncomfortable position. He is both head of the monarchy and husband to the accused queen consort. On one hand, he completely relies on Camilla's love and support, especially now that he wears the crown. On the other, he cannot simply dismiss a Supreme Court case that questions the royal family's integrity. He must walk a fine line between loyalty to his wife and his responsibility to protect the monarchy. People across Britain are watching how he reacts because his handling of these allegations will reflect on his leadership and sense of duty more than any grand coronation ceremony. Charles has witnessed scandals before, from the controversy surrounding Diana's passing to the turmoil caused by Prince Harry stepping back from royal life. Yet this situation is unique because it directly questions Camilla's actions and, by extension, his own judgment. If Charles defends her too strongly, critics might say he is blinded by personal feelings. If he distances himself from her, it could derail their relationship and raise doubts about whether he can stand by those closest to him. What's more, Princess Anne's reputation for honesty and hard work makes her a trustworthy figure among the public, placing additional pressure on Charles to address these complaints fairly. For many, the bigger issue is whether Charles will preserve the values his mother championed. Queen Elizabeth believed in tradition, unity, and the unspoken rule that royals keep internal matters private. By allowing the conflict between Anne and Camilla to escalate this far, Charles risks undermining that carefully maintained image. Ever since he took the throne, he has tried to present himself as a caring, forward-looking king who respects the public's concerns. Now, critics wonder if he can truly deliver on that promise while juggling a legal clash within his own household. The choices he makes could either stabilize or destabilize the monarchy's standing. A Supreme Court case and public scrutiny, few could have predicted that a dispute within the royal family would escalate all the way to the Supreme Court, but that's exactly what has happened with Princess Anne's accusations against Queen Camilla. By choosing to pursue a legal case, Princess Anne has broken with the tradition of handling family disagreements quietly behind palace walls. This bold move also places the monarchy under intense public scrutiny, as a Supreme Court battle means both sides may need to present evidence and witnesses in a very open setting. For a family long protective of its privacy, the possibility of airing private financial records or personal correspondences poses a significant risk. Many experts note that, win or lose, the royal family's decision-making process, personal relationships, and internal power dynamics could all be thrust into the public domain. From a legal perspective, this situation is unprecedented. Royal disputes rarely reach such a high-level court, and that alone has created a media frenzy. Princess Anne's claim that Queen Camilla misused royal funds, sidelined key family members, and went against Queen Elizabeth's wishes present serious questions about how the monarchy manages its affairs. While it's unclear exactly what evidence Anne has, the very fact she feels confident enough to bring her case this far indicates that she believes she has the facts to back it up. On the other hand, Queen Camilla's supporters see this as a family feud gone too far, one that could hurt the institution more than any alleged wrongdoing ever could. Even if the claims prove untrue, the spectacle of a royal legal showdown may still damage public trust. Meanwhile, the public is watching every twist and turn of the case with a mix of curiosity and concern. The monarchy depends heavily on goodwill from the people, so anything suggesting financial misconduct or power plays behind palace doors can be deeply unsettling. Social media has exploded with discussions questioning whether the royal family should remain such a central part of national life. If the court finds that Queen Camilla did, in fact, overstep or misuse her position, the fallout could be enormous. Even if she's cleared, many will remember the drama and wonder if there's more beneath the surface. Ultimately, this Supreme Court clash pulls back the curtain on a world that usually remains hidden, and that very exposure might be the biggest risk of all, altering the public's view of the monarchy in ways that cannot be undone. With the scandal swirling around Princess Anne and Queen Camilla, questions about the monarchy's long-term survival have gained fresh urgency. Trust has always been a fragile commodity for the royal family, and any perception of internal plotting or financial wrongdoing can undermine the very foundation on which the crown stands. For centuries, tradition and public respect have insulated the monarchy from politics and controversy. Today, however, skepticism is on the rise, and this high-profile conflict could be the catalyst that accelerates calls for reform or even the end of the royal institution as it currently exists. Critics argue that the monarchy needs to modernize or risk fading away. They point to younger royals like Prince William and Princess Catherine, who embody a more accessible image using social media and engaging with the public in a hands-on way. But when headlines center on legal battles and alleged power struggles, it overshadows any good work done by the next generation. If Queen Camilla is deemed to have abused her position, it not only harms her reputation but also shakes people's faith in the monarchy's overall moral ground. The crown has always relied on a sense of dignity and unity among its members, and this very public disagreement erodes that image at a moment when public sentiment is already shifting. Beyond Britain, the crisis resonates globally. Several Commonwealth nations have debated cutting ties with the monarchy in recent years, viewing it as outdated. A scandal of this nature can serve as a tipping point for those who believe the monarchy is no longer relevant. When members of the royal family become embroiled in court proceedings over allegations of personal gain or betrayal of a beloved late queen's wishes, it raises questions about whether they genuinely represent national values. Additionally, uncertainty about leadership and trust can embolden those who feel a ceremonial royal figurehead no longer aligns with modern democratic ideals. In this precarious climate, any misstep by King Charles or Queen Camilla could intensify the public doubts. Although royals have faced scandals before, Princess Diana's revelations, Prince Andrew's controversies, and Prince Harry's departure, this appears to strike even closer to the monarchy's core. It pits one of the most respected royals, Princess Anne, against the new queen consort, leaving many to wonder if this feud signals an irreversible break in royal unity. If the monarchy cannot swiftly and transparently address these concerns, it may find itself at the crossroads of history, facing challenges far more daunting than it has ever encountered in the modern era.